monies and the artists won't see shit.
That's right.
Remember,
that's what typically happens.
Remember you may have to go back.
Intellectual property payments too. You'd be surprised how many artists aren't making money from their own likeness.
Oh yeah, see.
Remember
Exactly.
Mario. Remember the movie that I know this is way out, and it's two movies I look at. There's a past film, and then there's a present one that I see. Even though it's kind of exploited a different way. Remember, I used to term barbarians at the gate.
Yeah.
The cigarette industry.
Right.
I said you thought the fight was about your health.
Right.
The fight was how do we get enriched and how do we circumvent the law
right.
to the best degree of letting them prove it to a certainty. And then the recent one, Too Big to Fail, which I sat there and said, when you really
too big to fail. If you're against socialism, that's the most socialistic concept. What is too big to fail?
I'm telling you.
I wonder what the identifiability of too big to fail is anyway. See, because if they're that big, then it's a whole lot of fingers in one pot.
That's right.
All them fingernails ain't clean.
I'm with you. And you know what I said about the too big to fail? I said, why don't you go to all those places where the unemployment is overwhelming, where the people are all broke, and tell them they don't have to pay taxes for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
If you want to do some charity, why don't you go charity right to the workers? Go to the workers and say, we'll provide some stipends if you can get some education, some retraining. Take some of that money. Remember, I'm the one who told you, and I remind you constantly, this country spent $689 billion in 2010 on defense. With the nearest competitor, you can look at, don't trust Mario, go look it up yourself, China, $114 billion. The U.S. outspends the entire world combined. Britain, China, Russia. We outspend them combined on military, $689 billion. That's where your money is, people.
Yeah, but
that's why they can't pay for you.
Look at the countries that you named and look at their currency in the world market. How much of that is real?
That's another whole issue.
Hey, I got a question.
Do you want to go there this morning?
I got a question coming from the, I call it the pit.
Okay.
Mac, Port Townsend, Washington, he asked Phil, he says, back in the day, when you produced a CD, would you get gross participation or net participation?
That depends on the structure of your deal and how many records you sold prior to the release of that one.
That came real quick. That's a nice answer.
Obviously, he's experienced in it.
That's right. Now, wait a minute. Before you do anything else, Suzette?
Yes.
Are you able to keep up with us ranting?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we don't forget you now.
She's opening up the, what is this you eating here today?
What you got, baby?
Take my food.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes, all the time.
Look at, see, I know, Suzette.
Because you always have some wonderful little goodies.
Suzette, I want you to know something. Remember, this is your day. And is this your day? You get to control the tempo of this show, okay?
Well, tell you
it's
what.
Your day.
We are going to do a whole lot of because we're going to do sports today and the hot picks. You guys go to take a look at this video, again, from RT.com, the former Russia television, all about SOPA.
All about what?
Too far. Well, joining me live now is Andrew McDermott. He is the policy analyst for the Center for Democracy and Technology. Thanks for being with us. On the face of it, stopping people stealing other people's hard work, it's surely a good thing. What's the problem?
Well, thank you for having me. I certainly agree that it's a laudable goal, and everybody wants to see artists' work protected. But the openness of the internet is just as important. It represents an important tool for free expression and for innovation in entire sectors of the economy. And the problem with the bills is that some of the measures that they propose to go after sites dedicated to infringement would do more harm than good and would compromise that openness.
Wikipedia and other sites that have joined in this protest, their blackouts, have undoubtedly raised awareness around the world. I mean, Twitter and Facebook are talking about this all day. But what kind of difference can they make in terms of decisions that are taken in Congress?
I think they can make a huge difference, if only for the reason that they make people stand up and take notice. I mean, we've seen a tremendous outpouring from all sorts of internet communities and all sorts of internet companies over the last few months since the discussion of these bills has really heated up. And we're seeing senators and representatives starting to take notice.
I spoke to the Wikimedia chief, in fact, last hour in the UK, and he told me that it's impossible to check every source of every bit of information because the internet, of course, is too established and it's too big. So what then is the solution?
I think that's right. I think that's why we see what we've seen for the past decade in the United States under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which does not place an obligation on service providers to monitor their sites for infringement, but rather requires that they take down content that's infringing when notified of it after the fact, of specific instances of infringement. In terms of a solution for the gaps that do exist in the law, I think that focusing on the payment providers and the ad networks that are the source of revenue for these sites that make a business of infringement will have a far greater impact and not represent the threat to free expression that the other measures proposed in these bills would.
Now, no one, of course, wants to see a government-controlled internet. What do you think might be the repercussions on the U.S. if it heads down the road with this bill and it actually becomes a law?
I think that's a great question, and its repercussions for the U.S. And the world beyond. I think the U.S. has historically stood out as a leader for free expression issues, particularly when it comes to internet policy. We've seen statements from Secretary Clinton at the Department of State advocating the benefits of one global internet that looks the same wherever you connect. And bills like this that embrace the very tools like attempted site blocking through the domain name system and search engine modification by government, embracing the very tools that repressive governments use to restrict their citizens' access to the internet, would undermine the U.S.'s position to make those points around the world.
If you wrote a best-selling novel or a platinum-selling song, how would you protect your work on the internet?
I certainly think that all work needs to be protected. I have artists in my family that want to see their work protected, and I own rights in some work myself. I do want to see it protected, and I think that there is room for a law that takes careful, targeted action at those websites that make a business of infringement. But I also recognize that the internet is a key factor in how artists today are distributing their work and reaching their fans, and we don't want to throw that out with measures to crack down on the actual bad guys.
All right, Andrew McDermott joining us live from Washington. Thank you very much, from the Center of Democracy and Technology.
All right, everybody. So as you can see, it's a topic that is really affected. By the way, these controversies that we're talking about are not simply U.S. issues. They are worldwide issues.
Yes, they are.
And if you really want to get into a bag of worms, try and talk about dealing with copyright infringement in places like China.
Or Indonesia.
Yeah.
Or anywhere in the Pacific Rim, since the Pacific Rim represents the largest percentage of bootleg music on the planet.
That's
Really?
right.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have a record released here on Tuesday. By Friday, they'll have the exact same artwork.
Wow.
And they'll be selling it for $6 a CD.
And the infrastructure is so tied into this that in a lot of ways they battle getting the legitimate stuff, because you have people who are long-standing businesses that who work within this bootleg community in these countries.
It's very large.
So they're not going to let the real people in.
Right.
Because the bootleggers are openly telling them, don't let them come sell their stuff over here. If they do, add 50% tariff.
Yeah.
Because I bootleg their stuff over here.
Right.
And it's the way, and it's all tied in together.
Which also leads artists like me who aren't signed to a, quote, status quo record label,
Right,
unquote.
Right.
You can make sub-publishing deals in every country that your music is played in. And then you don't care about if they pirate it or not. Because you get paid up front.
There you go. Now, see, this is why
Saying
we're going to try to learn a lot from Phil about just how to interact with the music business.
Well,
too.
I must add a disclaimer. Phil don't know everything it is to know now.
Yeah, I know he knows a lot. But he knows way more than me. And I've read all. And it's funny.
Only from a long and non-illustrious career
But see,
of
that's
making
the way.
mistakes.
Because you can't learn. And let me tell you, I've read all those books. I'm one of those few. You talk about I think every music book about how to do.
Right.
Can you have your own?
All of it.
I think I read every book. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so there's just some stuff you can't learn, but this is an ongoing problem. But there will be change that comes out of it. Whether it actually benefits artists, we will have to see. But there will be change because they're already fighting over the money.
Well,
Yeah.
as we discussed a couple of days ago, the precedent is already set.
That's right.
If Kindle, who downloads readable published material automatically takes out the publishing and the copyright out of everything that they download. That's the digital age. So the suggestion that the music providers aren't in the same playing field digitally
Right.
is, for lack of a better word, jargon.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay? Somebody's leading me around the block for me to end up across the street,
So let me
which
ask,
I kind of find offensive
so
from an
Phil,
artist perspective.
Yeah, yeah. So now, when you look to the future now,
Yeah,
with all that having been said,
yeah.
and you're looking to the future, and this is very clearly tied to your income, what are the rays of hope that you're clinging to that you expect to help you?
It's the digital age, right?
Right.
Now, we might go into a different byte identification, but what exists right now is going to be. The format may change a little bit, okay, in terms of what the status, not the status, what's the word I'm looking for? What the state of the art of the industry says is the norm. But we're in the digital age. So whatever changes come about on a digital format, I don't think it's going to change the accessibility. If anything, it's going to get bigger because your Mac, your MacBook Pros, some of your higher end PC hardware, the more that's manufactured, the cheaper it's going to be. The cheaper it's going to be, the more people buy it. The more people buy it, the more people use it.
That's my hope too, right? Because so someone like you, and I like to feel, because I like to cite artists who have a breadth of work, okay, out there available of such quality. They should establish a certain amount of new audience.
Yes.
I mean, it should. I mean, that's one of the really bright things about it. People who never heard, rarely heard a glimpse. That's the part that I find so exciting.
In the digital age,
Everything
that you've done in your life is new every day to somebody. Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Ain't that wonderful? And also, you have the wonderful technology that, from now on, we'll be able to see everybody who records in that wonderful, perfect state. What do I mean?
Right.
When I get out my mother's old tapes and records, they're old, they get faded.
Right.
You know, you're going to see Michael Jackson looking pristine the rest of your life.
Right.
You're going to see him looking at his best.
Right.
And that's the wonderful thing about the state that we've come to.
I think another
gonna be forever.
really what I would have to consider a miracle of the digital age is that not only is it pristine forever, but look at the potential of people that you reach, not on a daily basis, on an hourly basis.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine in 10 years when we talk about how many fans Michael Jackson will have made after he died.
Yeah. Well,
You know-
all the screens that you have here, right? Now, if they got books going into Kindle, who says 4 or 5 years from now, they ain't going to have videos going into Kindle?
Oh, hell yeah.
They ain't going to have concerts that you can
Sure they do.
download
Sure they do.
and see on Kindle.
Sure they will.
So the digital age presents such a cornucopia of opportunity. One would be less than intelligent not to investigate.
There you go. And he is, ladies and gentlemen. I got to mention that while he's here, go over there. He's been telling us about